End Time Truth Television, the channel for the lovers of truth, for the truth of the end time. So if you are a lover of truth, give us a subscription and God bless you. Shalom. Hello people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God bless you today, tomorrow, and always. I bring you greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. There was a video I saw today that reawakened some forgotten memories because there was enough in that video that reminded me something that happened in this land about close to 3 years ago. There was that little boy that went with his mother to the church, with the parents to the church, on the 10th of November 2019. And sad enough, the boy was not confirmed dead, but as I speak to you today, that boy has not been found. He has not been found. Now, when I saw the video that gave hope to so many people that very soon Jeremiah Omoto Fufeyin would be locked up, I secretly and silently wished that justice will be served and baby testimony and his family be given justice. But if you ask me, I don't see that happening, not in this time, not in this nation, not in this country. And if you follow me along, you will understand why I am saying what I have just said, what I'm saying. Listen, in the case of Kolawole Gold, the 1-year-old beautiful boy, I use the word beautiful, boy that went with his mama to the church, was a celebrated case. In his own, police actually dilly-dallied, and somehow high-profile individuals actually waded in to the case. And there was even intervention of the monarch of the town, who took the people to his shrine and made them to swear the oath of innocence. Now, police were not forthcoming, and 1 month after, there was intervention from an unlikely source. And when the parents were asked, they confirmed that they were not the ones that invited the DSS. Now, so I'm trying to lay this foundation for you to understand where I am going to. These two cases are alike. One, the two boys got missing, at least within and around the church premises. And the general overseers of this church, the two of them were involved, and there were children workers in these two places, but there are quite different. Now, in the case of the boy Kolawole Gold that got missing in the church of Alpha Samuel, the founder of Otitobire Prayer City or Prayer Church, whichever one. Now, in the case of this, young child, his own case was a known thing because there were concerns from every quarters. Like I said, the monarch showed interest, and I believed that just as there were some high-profile members in the church who were trying and who probably were the reasons why the police did not do what they were supposed to do. If you follow me along, you will understand that even the court of justice indicted the police force that they didn't do what they were supposed to do until the DSS came in.
The trial of founder of the Sotitobire Miracle Center, Alpha Babatunde, started today at a high court in Akure, the Ondo State capital.
Well, 2 witnesses testified in court out of the 7 listed in the case. Ayodeji Moradi reports.
Alpha Babatunde is his name, and he is the founder of Sotitobire Church. The other 6 are members of his church. They are all standing trial for the disappearance of a year-old boy, Gold Kolawole, in November last year. He and his church members were arraigned on a 3-count charge. The 2 witnesses listed for the day by the prosecution, Esther Kolawole An aunt and Kemi Kolawole, grandmother of the missing boy, spent over 4 hours to testify and be cross-examined by counsel to both parties.
Now, so it was actually the word of the founder of the church against the word of the poor parents of the innocent child. So, but it's like somebody somewhere got involved, got informed, and action was taken. And not just that, even the youth of the community got involved, and they just heard a rumor that the dead body of the child was exhumed from the altar. It was not established, and the irate youth went ahead and set the church ablaze. Now, what is the difference? The difference here is that Jeremiah and his own case as it is quite on the high there. I'd like you to watch this series of the videos that will confirm what I have just told you. And, you know, mainstream media, it was a celebrated case. And the issue is, when was it that you sat down on, you know, behind your television set and you heard AIT talking about Ruth Matthew's case, or you heard the channel's television talking about Ruth Matthew's case, you heard NTA talking about Ruth Matthew's case, you heard TVC talking about Ruth Matthew's case?
Now, the founder of Sotitobire Miracle Center, Alpha Babatunde, has been remanded at the Olokuta Correctional Center in Ondo State. He was arraigned at an Akure Magistrate Court along with 6 members of the church over the disappearance of a year-old boy, Gold Kolawole, in November. Our correspondent Ayodeji Morade reports on this.
The premises of the magistrate courts at Okeda in Akure was flooded by members of Sotitobire Miracle Center who came to witness the arraignment of the founder of their church, Alpha Babatunde. The pastor, who has been in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, was arraigned alongside 6 other members of the church. They were arraigned on 2-count charge of felony and kidnapping. This is in connection with the disappearance of 1-year-old boy, Gold Kolawole, inside his church in November. The Chief Magistrate, Charity Adeyonju, after listening to counsel of the state government and the accused, ordered that the suspect be remanded at the Olokuta Correctional Center till 14th of January next year. Alpha Babatunde burst into tears as he was being moved out of the courtroom into waiting Black Maria.
An Ondo State High Court sitting in Akure has again ordered the founder of Sotitobire Miracles Church, Prophet Alpha Babatunde, and 6 other church members be remanded at the Olokuta facility of the Nigerian Correctional Services. Justice Olusegun Odusola gave the ruling at the first appearance and arraignment of the suspect before the State High Court after the case ended at the Magistrate Court where it began. Alpha Babatunde and 6 members of his church are facing a 3-count charge over the disappearance of 1-year-old Gold Kolawole in the church in November last year. The suspect pleaded not guilty, but the Director of Public Prosecution asked for a short adjournment to enable her prepare the 7 witnesses listed for the case.
When I'm talking, saying about they're talking about it, I mean in the literal sense of it, that this boy is missing and justice is needed for the boy. Now, the few reportage I saw, I read on the print media happened to be when Ruth came out and contradicted few lines of her stories, and then it was aired. It was published that Ruth, that was the lady that was accusing the prophet, suddenly has begun to beg the prophet that she made a mistake and that she was in an error. So that has been the kind of coverage that this incident has garnered. But unlike the Sotitobire's case, the case of the innocent child Gold Kolawole, it was celebrated. It went round. Even people outside the country also heard it. Somebody called me the other time and he was trying to compare this Jeremiah's case with that case and said that, you know, since the man was dealt with the way he was dealt with, that Jeremiah would go down that same way. But I told him the truth that he never knew that it was not actually what he thought. Now I'm coming with my story. Now all I'm saying is this: I wish that justice will be done. But the question is, if in the case of Kolawole Gold, prominent men and women played their roles, and the man was arrested after 1 month and was charged to court, and 10 months rather after the arrest, he was sentenced, according to this video.
A high court sitting in Akure has sentenced the founder of Shotitobire Praising Chapel, Babatunde Alfa, and 5 other members of his church to life imprisonment over the disappearance of a year-old boy in his church. Justice Olusegun Odushola found them guilty and acquitted one of them.
After over 10 months of litigation, the judgment day has come. The suspects stood trial over the disappearance of a year-old boy, Gold Kolawole, in November last year in a church known as Shotitobire Praising Chapel, operated by Babatunde Alfa. The issue culminated into the burning of his church, though the body of the missing boy was not found in his church. In his judgment, which lasted for 4 hours, the trial judge, Justice Odushola, convicted the prophet and 5 members of his church, having found them guilty of the 2-count charge of kidnapping and aiding and abetting to kidnap, based on the circumstantial evidence presented by the prosecution. The court also condemned in strong terms what it termed complicity, compromise and lackadaisical attitude of the Ondo State Police Command after Gold got missing, which also led to the burning of Shotitobire Church. But counsel to the convicted prophet said the judgment will be challenged.
Judgment has been delivered. The judgment is either against or for, and whoever the judgment is against has a right of appeal. The fact that a judgment is against the defendant today does not mean they can't exercise their right of appeal. We will consult with them and take the necessary steps.
Count 1, the 6 of them were sentenced to 7 years imprisonment with hard labor. On count 2, they were sentenced to life imprisonment without an option of appeal. Then the 7th defendant, because they said we have not proved beyond reasonable doubt the offense of destroying property or evidence, is discharged and acquitted.
So, having been sentenced, at least, there was some sense of justice that was given to the family of the boy. But unfortunately, even though that they were sentenced to life imprisonment that actually did not last, that could not produce the boy, because if the justice or the judgment that they got had the tendency or the power to produce the boy, to bring the boy back, to bring him out alive, or even at least to show an evidence that the boy is dead, now they would be more pacified. But how could a mother be living with the thoughts, not being sure that her son is either alive somewhere or dead somewhere, or is being held somewhere, or has been used for ritual somewhere? Now that is traumatic enough. But what is more traumatic is that either, a year after the imprisonment, of course, the appeal court got a visitor in the mode of the prophet of the Shotitobire Church. And recent as 5 months ago, he has been released.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Akure, Ondo State capital, has set aside the judgment of the Ondo State High Court that sentenced the founder of the Shotitobire Praising Chapel. The Ondo State High Court had sentenced the prophet to life imprisonment over the disappearance of 1-year-old Gold Kolawole in his church in 2019. The Shotitobire founder had asked the appeal court to nullify his life sentence conviction by the court. The court ruled that the circumstantial evidence the High Court based its judgment is not enough to convict him. He was therefore discharged and acquitted.
I'm a free man. Yes. I thank you, Jesus Christ. Ọlọ́run ṣé o. Lọ́wọ́ ogun àkóbá, Ọlọ́run yọ mí. Hallelujah. Lọ́wọ́ ogun ẹ̀wọ̀n, Ọlọ́run yọ mí. Lọ́wọ́ ogun ìlara, Ọlọ́run yọ mí. Lọ́wọ́ ogun wàhálà ẹ̀wọ̀n, Ọlọ́run yọ mí. Lọ́wọ́ ogun ẹ̀wọ̀n, Ọlọ́run yọ mí. Lọ́wọ́ ogun àkóbá, Ọlọ́run yọ mí. Wọ́n sì gbé mi láti inú ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì dé ibi ẹ̀wọ̀n. Láti Sunday service mo ti wọnú ogun yìí. Mo bọ́ lè ní. Ọlọ́run tó yọ mí lọ́wọ́ ogun ẹ̀wọ̀n yìí tó yọ mí. Ọlọ́run tó yọ mí tí mo kẹ́pẹ́ tó sì gbà mí. Ọlọ́run tó yọ mí yìí ó ti yọ mí, mo bọ́, mo gbàdúrà k'Ọlọ́run yọ mí. Mi ò mọ̀ sí ó sì yọ mí. Bó ṣe yọ mí yìí, gbogbo àwọn tó mọ̀ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, tó ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí, tó bá tiẹ̀ gbọ́n kọ́ lóògùn, Jésù á tú àṣírí wọn.
Àmín Jésù Kristi.
Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àti omi ara wọn á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kẹ̀.
Àmín Jésù.
Níbi kí ló wà l'Ákúrẹ́ ní Nàìjíríà lágbàláyé, ọkùnrin àbí obìnrin ló ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí, tó rán mi lẹ́wọ̀n láì mọ̀dí ọ̀rọ̀, láì wádìí ọ̀rọ̀ lórúkọ Jésù. Ọlọ́run á tú àṣírí wọn.
While I strongly understand that it is quite possible for somebody to be innocently sentenced or wrongly sentenced, and the person languishes in jail for a crime he never knew anything of. And that is why I have always chosen to be very, very careful when I speak on this matter. And sometimes people want me to toe a line of condemnation outrightly. You see, yeah, there is always a sense in every rumor, but at the same time, it is not always correct to toe the lines of the crowd. Now, judging from the body language of the man, he could be pretending it, he could be faking it. He was here thanking God. Now, but what I'm saying is that at least there was an attempt to secure justice. At least there was an attempt to try the man. There was an attempt to make the family of the young boy, the child, feel that justice system is still alive. But I guess that, like they said, that it was heaven sent, not really that they had a hand in it. But unlike that, the case you have at hand, nobody has ever shown interest. And just, as you would always expected, here are his jubilant members on the streets, shouting and chanting and singing for joy. And my heart, goes back to the family of the boy. I was just asking myself, how would they feel? How would the mother and the father of the boy feel that going for miracle, they lost a treasure in the hands of persons yet unknown? As I speak with you, that boy has not been found, unless he was found yesterday, but I don't think that Kolawole gold has been found. Here are the jubilant members of the Shotitobire or Shotitobire congregation.
We are very happy today. Today is our joy. Today is our most happiest day in Shotitobire because our daddy is coming. We are now happy. Before, we are very sad. We are having a sorrow. We are crying. But now, we are happy.
For the judgment of today. Because it's only God. God is God. It's always. That is why I'm thanking him that is releasing my prophet. He's the one that is releasing Prophet Ava Babatunde. That is why I'm thanking God. My own advice to my member is to everybody should be jubilate and be glad and be giving to God
So when you are using this to compare the issue of Ruth Matthew's case, now listen, I'm not actually saying that there is every evidence. In the case of Kolawole Gold, the mother was receipted, and so it was clear. Nobody denied the fact that the boy was brought to the church because his tally number, the tally number that was given to mom, according to the report, was number 87. So it was, recorded that the boy was brought into the church. There were about 14 workers in that children department. So it is not like the case of Jeremiah Motofen's church that I heard a narrator saying that at the point of Ruth, losing her son, within that environment, that there was nothing like children section. Now, so there were workers, the woman was received, so there is no denying the fact that that son got missing in the midst of about 200 other children, and he was singled out and got missing. How did he just disappear? There was nobody that was saying anything. Now, so his own case was very, 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 special, and it drew the attention of everybody. Now, but what we're having today is that, the case of Jeremiah, even if you look at it, you discover that the Ruth Matthews case is beginning to, to fade. It has waned, and that is the effect of social media for you. It will, be at the zenith. It will trend and trend and trend. Before too long, another story will come up and will dampen the trend of the first one, and that is exactly what has happened to the case of Ruth Matthew and her missing son. And so not everybody is so much talking about it. And the enough noise that was made about this sin, the dust that was raised about it, I thought would have been enough. If there are people that have conscience somewhere in the place of power that could have come out, that could have taken it upon themselves. I mean, Ruth and her son came from a constituency, and there is somebody that is representing that constituency. Now, they are constituents of that constituency. Now, nobody from that place thought it, good enough to at least let me lend a voice to this woman that I am representing somewhere. Are we talking about Jeremiah going to jail when nobody has charged him to court? No one has come out evidently to say, yes, I'm a witness to this. As it is, Ruth is in court today, not for the missing child. She is being charged to court, or she is in court because of a different thing that is actually quite irrelevant to the case at hand. I said that even the case of the child that had a lot of evidence that the child was in church, they didn't deny that the child didn't come inside the church, like the people here at Mercy City said that Ruth's son got missing outside of the premises. Now, this one was in the church. It was received. There was no denying the fact that the boy was in church. All that they were saying was that nobody knew what happened, how come he disappeared from the church. Yet at the end of it all, nobody, so to speak, has been held responsible. The people that were charged, howbeit, since the prosecutors could not prove that they are actually culpable, they have been set free, and nobody ever since then has been charged, with whatever, the missing child's case. And so in this case, we are all celebrating on social media, Jeremiah will soon go to jail. Where does it work like that? It doesn't work like that. You see, I am pouring out my pain. I'm pouring out my frustration. Because this case started in a way that it should have been, we thought, could have ended well. But unfortunately, we don't have the means, the power to push it further than this because of certain things that I may not be able to speak about here. And there is no barrister, there is no rich man or big man anywhere that thought it's okay, since this thing has come to this point. Let us even hear what this person is saying. So remember, the other one was a celebrated case This one is being celebrated only on social media. And then how are we talking about Jeremiah going to prison? Even those people that are speaking, like there was a video I did and I almost regretted doing that video. The video of a man that said he walked in a place where these children are being kept. Now, that was a social media thing. If this thing is like that, except there is something that is happening that I do not know, but if it is true, somebody just called on phone and he was hiding his identity and, produced a picture and gave some vital information, and it is only hanging on social media. Now, I thought that if actually there is going to be justice and somebody is willing and ready to clear his conscience, the best thing to do, if this is a sane society, a society where people are normal, we are not normal in this place. From head to toe, we are not normal here. Nobody is normal. Everybody is just about himself and about herself. And that is why the country is going round. The country has no direction because everybody is just mindful of his own thing. Everybody is mindful of his own place, his own space. Nobody is actually thinking about the other. I want to believe that so many people, several people that should have intervened, must have heard this thing enough. And unfortunately, nobody is saying anything. The evidence we provide on social media, evidence in quotes, because there has not actually been concrete evidence on the surface, that even if we are to say that somebody is coming out, those who are calling on phone, are they ready to come out and come and give evidence? The evidence on social media will not do anything to send anybody to jail. And that is why I am beginning to think that the majority of people who are calling and are purportedly giving evidence of what they know, are they ghosts? Where are they coming from? We dance on social media, we make noise on social media, and no reasonable person is reasonable enough to take this information that has been provided at least and to work with it. And we are nursing hope. And I am looking at it as if that hope that we are nursing is almost a charade that may not actually yield fruit. So if you ask me, I desire to wake up one day and hear that justice has been served. I desire to one day wake up and realize that the truth about the son of Ruth Matthew that got missing has been found, or at least that something concrete has been done. Unlike the case of the Sotitobi race, anybody was interested in the case. But in this one, this seems to be more high profile. This seems to be more celebrated on the social media, but lesser attention has been given to it by the people who should do something. And so with this video, I want to blackmail the conscience of those of you who ought to do something. And the conscience of you who know something, a thing or two about this missing boy, and you have kept quiet. I want to remind you that you will be judged in eternity. I want to remind you that sooner or later you will reap what you sowed. And if you are out there, but you are supplying us with false information, understand that also nemesis will catch up with you someday, somehow, sometime. So all I'm saying is that I wish to wake up one day and celebrate the fact that baby testimony has been found, and that those soldiers on phones who hide their identity to give information, I wish that they will come out. I wish that they will come out and damn the consequences, or at least confide in a lawyer who they think can do something. They're afraid of their safety. I understand that sometimes these things may be, if I come out now, they will kill me. I understand that. But then, you see, there is a posterity that will judge everyone that is connected to this case. So if you ask me, if this was to be a sane society, if this was to be a society where people are normal, there should have been hope for baby testimony to be found. At least when the man in the middle of the storm came out and said that before the end of the month of March, that the young boy shall be found. But then, a day or so later, he came out and changed his story. That should have been enough reason why somebody somewhere should have risen up and asked question. But who do you ask question when every person that should have said something are, so to speak, on the payroll of the Lord of Manor? And you tell me that this is a place where anybody should expect something good to happen. My friends, let's not live in false hope. I see this whole thing as a mirage. But I still wait and nurse the hope that somehow there could be divine intervention somewhere sometimes. And miracle still happens. And I can only hope a miracle, not on the justice system of this place called a country. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Until then, may I read your comment in the comment section. And remember, I haven't said that if Jeremiah is not culpable, if he is not the one that is having the baby, that he should be lied against. But the truth is that if Prophet Sotitobire got his freedom, even after all, and without the evidence that the child has been found, with all the attention that the case garnered, with all the celebration that came along with it, with all the coverage that the mainstream media gave to it, I don't see anything different taking place on this. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Till I come your way again in the next video. From me to you. Shalom.